every single day, literally, there's a new AI model dropping, like GPT 4.5, Grok 3, Claude 3.7, and don't even get me started on those Alibaba models that keep popping up. And every time one of these hits, the companies are like, oh, our model is the best. Look at our shiny benchmark scores. We're crushing the competition. Companies throw around numbers like GPT 4.5 is 2.3% better at math than all other models. But are these benchmarks really the real deal, or are they just overhyped nonsense to trick us into jumping on the bandwagon? Every company's out here acting like they've invented the wheel, and they've all got these fancy benchmark numbers to back it up. Like, but those numbers are trustworthy as a politician's promises. All right, let's start with the basics, because I'm not assuming you're all AI nerds, though if you are, props to you. Benchmarks are like these standardized tests for AI models. Think those dumb multiple choice quizzes you took in school. They're supposed to measure how good a model is at stuff like answering questions, solving problems, or pretending it understands what you're saying. Companies love them because they can wave these scores around like a victory flag. Look, we got a 98%. Our AI is basically Einstein. AI companies are basically in a never-ending rap battle where everyone declares themselves the GOAT, but nobody ever proves it outside their own hype train. One of my favorite things is when people realize benchmarks are basically a leaderboard for who cheated the best. AI labs are literally overfitting their models to these tests, like students cramming for a final they don't understand. And people still take these scores seriously. Like, do you really think a model that scores 0.5% higher than another one is smarter? But seriously though, benchmarks are essentially standardized tests for AI models. They measure performance across various tasks like reasoning, coding, and knowledge retrieval. Companies use these scores to prove their models are improving and better than competitors. But here's something actually important. There's growing evidence of what researchers call benchmark contamination. Most of these models are trained on vast amounts of internet text, which includes the very benchmark tests they are being evaluated on. When Microsoft launched a new language model in December, they bragged about aggressively filtering benchmarks from their training data. Then, in the fine print of their technical report, they admitted their methods were not effective against all scenarios. But actually, this brings up a good point. The only benchmark that matters is your use case. If Claude works better for your specific needs, great. If GPT 4.5 or Gemini or whatever helps you solve your problems, awesome. If DeepSeek or Alibaba's models give you the results you need at a price you can afford, look, I'm not saying benchmarks are completely useless. They're a starting point, a rough gauge, but treating benchmark scores as the definitive measure of AI capability is like judging a restaurant solely by its Yelp rating without ever tasting the food. The uncomfortable truth is this: current benchmarks are deeply flawed, easily manipulated, and possibly giving us a false sense of progress in AI. We need better evaluation methods that actually measure generalization and reasoning, not just pattern matching and memorization. AI companies keep citing them as the primary evidence of progress because they're selling a narrative of unprecedented, endless improvement to justify the massive amounts of land, power, and money being poured into this technology. I mean, just last week, OpenAI introduced GPT 4.5 as its largest and best model for chat yet. Not to be outdone, Google called its latest Gemini the world's best AI model. And then DeepSeek was like, our model is the best. Meanwhile, AI companies are burning cash faster than the Tesla battery in a crash test, and they're still using the same fundamental technology as when ChatGPT dropped in 2022. They're just word prediction algorithms piecing together responses based on stuff written by actual humans. So next time someone tells you their favorite AI model is the best because benchmarks, just smile and ask them if it can actually do what you need it to do, because at the end of the day, that's the damn finest benchmark there is.